Twerton Park is an amazing family atmosphere.
Proper old-fashioned football ground for those that haven't been there, worth a visit.
Football, sliced and diced with Sedgemoor FM and Apex Soccer Group.
Before we get into talking about today's topic, let me just give you a quick invitation. If you are a fan of a local club or a player, or even a club official, or in any way involved in local grassroots football, then you'll want to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to get notified of all our latest uploads, as and when they drop. On this channel, you'll also get some local interest stories, the occasional behind the scene, glimpses into our studio at Sedgemoor FM,
Don't you take my Yorkshire pudding
and of course, the occasional music related video too.
from me.
Hello there everyone, hi, thank you again for joining us for today's Sliced and Diced episode. We are at Charles Lewin House, the home of Somerset FA, and we are joined by Chris and Maddie from the Bath City Football Club Foundation. Welcome guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers for having us.
No, it's a pleasure. You guys have been doing some great work out and about, and you've come across our radar, and we were desperate to get you in and find out a little bit more. But to start with, for those that don't know, tell us about the foundation, what it is and what your purpose is.
Yeah, so we're Bath City FC Foundation. We're the charity arm of the club, so we are partnered with them, but we run independently. So we're self-funded, and we get grants through like National League Trust and stuff through like Premier League with Primary Stars, and then funding from other organisations. So we've had funding from like GWR, NHS. We've had it from many different parts, Co-op, Medlock,
All those sort of things. Funds,
all those sort of places. But obviously, we have to go in and tell them why we're applying for this stuff.
Yeah.
So last year we worked with roughly 3,500 individuals in the Baines area.
Okay.
And that sort of age range at the time was from about the age of 5 through to 97.
Okay.
And obviously not all of them are playing football. So yeah, we're sort of like want to let people know that we are more than just football.
Okay.
It's not just come up, put your bib on and play football. So we cover a range of stuff, like I say, from primary schools right through to sort of social inclusion projects like Reconnecting Twerton, which is where they get the older participants, or more senior participants. And our staff has grown massively in the last few years. So we're sort of been told recently that we're sort of like probably League 2 foundation sort of size.
Okay, yeah.
So for a club in National League South, that's
We're
quite an achievement.
Yeah. So you mentioned obviously the Reconnecting Twerton project. What other projects have you got going on that support Maddie? What are you working on at the moment?
So I do a lot of stuff with women's and girls.
Okay.
And then I help Chris on the health and wellbeing side as well.
Yeah.
So one of our projects is Beyond the Pitch.
Okay.
And we basically do an hour of football and then an hour chat after, where we'll cover like mental wellbeing or like physical wellbeing.
Okay.
This week we had a guest speaker in, Chris Todd. And he's currently assistant manager at Yeovil, but he kind of went through his whole life journey. He got leukemia, came back from it, and then he kind of shared his views on mental well-being. And then our participants, I think, related quite a lot to what he said. So it was really good.
Recently as well, you've started up a pan-disability group. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is sort of come off work we've done through schools as well. So we were one of the first to pilot Comets, which is a casual football session for people with disabilities.
Yeah.
And we started that, and then we saw the need for it locally. So we're getting quite a lot of contact from people saying, like, you know, are you doing this outside in like leisure time? So Paul, our inclusion officer, he's started up a pan disability session, which is a once a week session where anybody with a disability can come along, join in. It's inclusive, and we sort of try and get everybody to be involved in any sort of way we can. I don't think we've been stumped yet on how to include people.
Is that following the Comets programme?
Yeah, so like the Comets programme was really successful. We worked I participated in the pilot bit of 3 ways. We even overcome obstacles like we had somebody that arrived in a bed,
Okay.
and their sort of teaching assistant was like, look, they really want to get involved.
Yeah.
So we worked on a system where they would pass the ball to somebody else with their hands, and then that person would put it through the cones, then it would go back to them. So they were getting involved as well. So yeah, there's masses of different ability levels and sort of how much they can be independent. And then obviously we've got the other end of the scale where we've got some very good footballers mixed in the group as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'm guessing just like in sort of other pathways, there's a pathway for these players through into competitive teams or youth teams, and then maybe even through into elite teams and the England pathway, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so what we're hoping to do is keep the group growing, and then eventually we've looked to sort of there be a disability team formed, whether it's a specific disability or a pan-disability team, but also players where we can sort of identify their potential. So obviously you've got like CP football, there's like Down syndrome teams, things like that. We would signpost them to where they can play in competitive matches, because obviously we can't facilitate that at the moment. And hopefully put them on the pathway to playing international football for their chosen country.
No, most definitely. So with all this great work that's going on, how do you get yourself out there? Where can people find more or see more?
Yeah, so we've got our social media channels and website. So we're on most platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram.
It still sounds
wrong.
It still sounds wrong.
Yeah, I still call it Twitter.
For those of you that X, Twitter, it's the same thing. It's just the youth can't spell Twitter, so they had to make it X.
Yeah. So we're on like your normal platforms. LinkedIn, we're also on there as well, and people can follow us through there. And then obviously through like FA websites. If people sort of see this and then are like, I'm not sure where to go, they can come to yourselves, like come to Somerset FA, and we can be in contact with yourselves. And we obviously try and spread our word through local media as well. We try and get partnerships going. So like myself and Maddie work on a partner session with Bath Mind as well. We're trying to get our reach, and we're trying to break that sort of circle that we've got at the moment, where it's a lot of people connected with Bath City will be aware of us. But
it's that wider
network, where we can appeal to people that may not be like with the Beyond the Pitch session. We've got people that really aren't football fans, never played before, but they've seen or know other people at the session come along, and they've got involved, and they've seen sort of the benefit of being in that environment. Same with the women's sessions. So we obviously do Wildcats, which is for younger girls. Then we've got Squad Girls, which is for like teenagers. And then from obviously 16 up, you can play women's football. So we do the Just Play sessions, where you can come along and it's a casual game. Like most of our sessions, they're not aimed at being a competitive session. It's about being inclusive, about getting people active, growing their social network, and sort of the whole health and well-being side of it. So you don't need to be of a standard to come to any of our sessions.
No, okay. And you have your an annual day as well as the club, and you work together, and you do stuff on the pitch and advertise and talk to the crowd and stuff. Do you know when that one is yet, or is it still TBC?
It's just waiting to be confirmed, but we will be putting it out through social media. But yeah, you're right, we will be inviting a lot of our participants down to come and see football. So some of them will never have been to a real football match. And Twerton Park is an amazing family atmosphere.
Proper old-fashioned football ground for those that haven't been there, worth a visit.
So like for myself, I grew up in Oxford, and I was at the Old Manor Ground, and it really brings back memories of that. But what I love about Twerton Park is that you can walk around, your kids can be a little bit freer than a modern stadium. Everybody's friendly, and yeah, there's a real nice sort of atmosphere at the ground. It's very nice. The football's a good quality as well. You know, a lot of the kids can then connect with it. That's one of the things that working in the community session. So we do inclusion sessions where we'll go out and do come and play. So children can just turn up. There's no cost, and we'll be there to get them playing. So we do them in like Weston and Pennyquick, and obviously this time of year we have to stop because of the light. Yeah. But speaking to those kids, how much they identify with the club and they aspire to play for Bath City, and it's quite interesting that the pull of the Premier League hasn't taken them all away. No. Like there's still these kids that are like, you know, I want to play for Bath City one day.
Yeah. So can yourself, Maddie, or Chris, or other colleagues, can you be found at Twerton on match days, handing out leaflets and talking to the crowd and stuff?
So yeah, I mean, we like to say we've got the foundation day, and for different sort of programs during the year, we'll be there and support the club in their activities as well. Obviously, we've got our offices are on site there. But if people want to sort of find out more, they're more than welcome to sort of either give us a phone call, drop us an email, or get in contact through the club if they're not sure how to find us. We can get in touch with them. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything anybody sees that they're not sure about and just want to sort of find out a little bit more, like with a lot of our sessions are just, you can just turn up and have a look. But yeah, it's a really sort of, we try to make it as easy accessible as we can for everybody.
So at this stage then, what is it that you guys need? Is it participants for your groups? Is it volunteers to help run it? Is it money? What do you guys need at this stage to continue to A, continue doing the great work that you're clearly doing, but B, obviously progress it and grow it so that you can support more people?
Yeah.
Well, I'd say on that, I think the demand's definitely there, especially with like the health and wellbeing side. It's a massively growing area. So I think we just need to kind of access the funding for that and get the word out there more, so we can reach more people. But it's such a big area in football and like sport together. So I definitely think it's worth growing that. And like, I know we've got a lot of plans coming up with it.
Fantastic. So leads nicely into what are your plans? What's coming up December, January, February that people can get involved with?
So yeah, we've been fortunate as well with the funding for the women's and girls section, which has secured it for 2 years. I think a lot of people, like you're saying about funding, don't realise that our funding is for very short periods. So a lot of our staff don't have the normal job security that people are used to when they get a job. Yeah. So like you're on shorter fixed term contracts. But we've got an expansion of the women's and girls programme, so we'll be doing more Wildcat sessions. We're going to be adding more just play sessions as well. Walking football is something that we're going to be expanding as well. So there'll be a women's walking football session that we're looking to start. And yeah, there's just lots of exciting times coming up.
No, fantastic. Guys, thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us at home as well. You're clearly doing some fantastic work. You're making a massive difference to, it sounds like, hundreds of people's lives, if not thousands of people's lives across Baines area. So keep doing what you're doing, keep going. And guys, check out their socials, get along to a game, keep an eye out for when their foundation days are. If you can help in any way, get in touch with Chris and the team and do what you can. But for now, thank you very much for joining us. If you've enjoyed this one, give us a like and a subscribe on our socials, and make sure to tune in for more in the future.